Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, and I want to welcome everyone here today. Today, December 10th, is recognized across the world as Human Rights Day. With us this morning are a handful of outstanding local leaders who work daily to ensure the human rights of everyone they encounter are upheld and that people are treated with dignity and respect. It was on this day, December 10th, in 1948, the General Assembly of the United Nations, in response to the heinous and outrageous acts that took place during World War II that really outraged the consciousness of mankind, on this day, they adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, proclaiming the inalienable rights which everyone is entitled to as a human, regardless of their race, color, religion, sex, language, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, or other status. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights is a foundational document in the history of human rights. It was drafted by representatives from different legal and cultural backgrounds from all the regions of the world. The First Lady of the United States, Eleanor Roosevelt, was the first chairperson of the Commission of Human Rights and played a significant role in drafting the Universal Declaration. She is credited with steering the drafting process towards completion. It is viewed worldwide as a common standard of achievement for all peoples and all nations. It outlines fundamental human rights to be universally protected and has been translated into more than 500 languages. This makes it the most translated document in the history of the world. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights contains plain but powerful articles that can be understood by all. For example, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and right. Everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of person. No one shall be subjected to cruel, torture, inhumane or degrading treatment, or punishment. These are just a few of the 30 articles in the Declaration, but as you can tell, the Declaration is meant to serve as a reminder that all people are to be treated with dignity and respect. The late South African President Nelson Mandela once said, "To deny people their human rights is to challenge the existence of humanity." These words are a powerful reminder of the obligation and responsibility we all have to respect every human, especially during these incredibly divisive times. With us today are leaders from our local community who work tirelessly every single day on the front lines to protect human rights. I would like to call each of them up individually, recognize them, have them say a few words, and then afterwards we'll take a group picture. First, I want to recognize Nicole Murray Ramirez, a dear friend of mine for many, many years. Nicole is a longtime LGBTQ+ activist and has been a pioneer and a trailblazer in the fight for equality and dignity. Nicole was on the front line seeking solutions during the early years of the HIV/AIDS crisis, the founder of both the AIDS Assistance Fund and the Mexican AIDS Fund. Nicole was awarded the Cesar Chavez Social Justice Award by Cesar's wife for his efforts to support people living with HIV/AIDS and other LGBTQ+ refugees seeking asylum in Mexico. For over half a century, we don't know the exact number of years, because the exact age of Nicole is a top secret, closely guarded, nobody actually knows. I even asked the registrar of voters. He's like, "I can't tell you, it's a secret." But for many years, Nicole has been working on solutions to issues involving the Latino community, the LGBTQ+, our HIV/AIDS community, and has been nationally and internationally recognized for this work. Nicole organized and led the campaign for the first street in San Diego to be named after Harvey Milk, currently serves on the Harvey Milk Foundation Board, has been very involved with the U.S. Navy on a major announcement coming and progress that they've made in honoring the legacy of Harvey Milk. Nicole also serves as the Executive Director of the International Imperial Court Council and has reigned as Queen Mother of the Americas for 13 years. And of course, Nicole serves as the official mayor of Hillcrest, a powerful and vibrant community in the 4th District. Nicole, the Board of Supervisors is committed to honoring people like you who are dedicated to public service, the principles of human rights, and I'm honored to present you this proclamation and hereby declaim it Nicole Murray Ramirez Day throughout San Diego County.
Good morning, buenos dias. You know, God has blessed me to have lived to see the empowerment and the visibility of the two communities I love, the Latino and LGBT community. I also want to salute and how honored I am to share this with Rachel and Margaret. between us, we have over 150 years of human rights activism. So we are now officially the Golden Girls. I've had the honor to have served and advised the last 7 mayors of San Diego, 5 Republicans, 2 Democrats. Could I tell you some stories? But hopefully, for many of us, this next year we will elect our first mayor of color and a gay mayor. In the 1970s, when I was in San Diego, first came here, you could count officers, be they police officers or sheriffs, that were Latino, that were women, that were African American, Asian, Pacific Islander, probably in one hand. But things have changed. In the 1960s, 50s, and 70s, gays could be sent and were sent to mental hospitals just by the signature of their parents or judge. They were not only sent to these mental hospitals, but they were subjected to electric shock treatment and lobotomies. I knew many of these people. In 1974, we had our first Pride parade. They would not issue us a permit, and I'll never forget what the police officer at the desk said. He said, "There will never be a gay pride in San Diego." Well, now we're the largest parade in San Diego County with this year, over 300,000 people participating. As I've said so many times before, the Golden State is turning brown, especially with the growth of the Latino and Asian Pacific Islander communities. But sadly, hate crimes have increased in our city and county. We still have a long way to go, and the LGBT fight for equality is indeed the last civil rights movement of the 21st century. Hopefully, one day, we will all look at each other without labels and see that we are one human family. I want to thank the Board of Supervisors, and especially for their service to our county. And thank you, Nathan, and thank you for your service in the Marine Corps, and especially for your 3 cousins that also serve. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Put them in your library. Yeah. Next up, I want to introduce Rachel Ortiz, another longtime friend. I have sat in Rachel's office and been guided and directed and counseled. Rachel brings a wealth of knowledge and history and commitment. She started in the fight to protect human rights in the 1960s when she began volunteering with the United Farm Workers in their boycott efforts. Following also the example of Cesar Chavez and her personal friendship with the beloved and great American humanitarian, this man, Rachel, strives to take on major challenges that affect the quality of people who are disenfranchised and who simply desire equal treatment and a better life. In 1969, she taught English instruction classes to immigrant housekeepers, expanding that program and having tremendous reach. In 1975, as the chairperson of the Mayor's Council on Youth, she spearheaded the first time effort to make sure ethnic groups of color receive summer funding for their programs. In the 70s and 80s, when the county had a Human Relations Commission, she served our county in that capacity. She cares tremendously about her community. She worked to get the city and state approval for redevelopment designation for Barrio Logan that has revitalized an area over the last 2 decades. Today, Rachel is the executive director of Barrio Star, an incredible youth-serving organization that provides an array of services, including a neighborhood theater, a community swimming pool, counseling, and programming for youth activities. Rachel, the County Board of Supervisors, is committed to honoring trailblazers and pioneers who have dedicated their life to improving our community and who believe in the principles of human rights. And it's a great honor today on Human Rights Day to proclaim it Rachel Ortiz Day throughout San Diego County.
Thank you. I'll try to keep my comments to emulate me, short and sweet. I'm very honored to be here. Thank you so much, Nathan, and I'm going to have some closing words that maybe will touch your heart, okay, as well. I started out in 1956. Sorry if I get emotional, but it's been a long haul working in social justice. In 1966 in the Bay Area, I joined the boycott, the United Farm Workers boycott, what the United Farm Workers tried to do was eliminate the legal slavery that remained after emancipation in this country. And when you go, when you go to fast food, or if you go to the supermarket, or you go to a restaurant or a hotel, those people put the food on our table, and they deserved to be recognized and to be included in what's called the National Labor Relations Act, to be covered like everyone else, because they were being paid by the bushel or the peck, or a carton, or a sack of cotton, and this continued after emancipation. And so with that, Cesar Chavez, the greatest humanitarian I've ever known, I've met many. I've been active 56 years now, and they got included into the National Labor Relations Act as a union, fighting for a union. That's what the boycotts were for, to call attention to their plight. So what happened there, they got, like you and I, minimum wage, at least minimum wage, like you and I, paid into Social Security, into Medicare, into state disability, workers' comp, employment, EDD. If you're laid off. And so they have these things, and they have to have running water now. They have to have toilets for them. They have to have salt tablets when they're working in the fields. They have to stop spraying pesticides while they're working in the fields. So all these things are so important. This whole thing changed my whole life. I was very proud to work with the Filipinos, the Mexicans, the Arabs, the African Americans, and the Okies. The Okies are all sun-worn. That's all they did all their lives, work in the fields. And these are the most wonderful people in the world, I'll tell you. And I'm just very honored. I still do this today. I still support the farm workers. I work with, many were migrants, and when payday came, they called the migra. When payday came, they called the immigration to pick them up. I was there. I've never seen such inhumanity in my life. And so always remember, when you eat food, even when you say grace, God is great, God is good, and we thank him for this food. By his hands, we must be fed. Give us, Lord, our daily bread, and say, thank you, farm worker. Thank you, little farm worker. They're wonderful people. Today, I'm working with migrants who need us right now. You know why? I forgot what year it was. Nixon was in office, but he said something about, America, get ready for globalization. It's something new. And okay. Well, it means people are moving around now, right? The world's on the move. We have to receive people. They're not going to take your jobs or my job. Anybody who wants to go back in the fields and work, they can do it. Anybody who wants to be housekeepers, they can do it. Cesar Chavez also helped the United Domestic Workers to get organized. They're the people who clean our rooms when we go to hotels. They do our laundry. They work in the 1-hour modernizing places, dry cleaners and all. Now they are also covered under the National Labor Relations Act. This is something that Cesar Chavez did, and he instilled this in me. So people I work with now that are coming and going across the border, we're helping them get as much as we can under the law allows now for them to be stabilized here in this country and provide services that all of us care about. And I just wanted to say something. Your wife, Lorena Gonzalez, she supported the United Farm Workers. She's still with them, and she's a wonderful lady. You ought to be very proud of that, because I'm older than her, so she's taller than me, but she's a little me. In this sense, she's a little me, and I'm very honored for this award. I thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel. Give you that. Rachel, I'm reminded, it was a decade ago, I was in the legislature in the effort that the struggles on this continue, and we had a piece of legislation before us. It was very controversial. It only passed with 41 votes, the bare minimum. And what that legislation did is it took the verbatim protections for farm animals, verbatim, in the law, in California statute. These are the protections for water and shade for farm animals. And we just simply added, and farm workers. Same protections we had for farm animals, we said should apply to farm workers. And it was a tremendous fight that barely passed. And then obviously my wife came back last year and said the same protections of overtime that everyone else in the employment system deserves, should be employed by farm workers, deserved by them, and that was also a tremendous fight. And so these efforts there's a historical context to the pioneers, but there's a reminder that there's still a long way to go. The folks who trailblazed, whether it was Nicole or Rachel or others, there's a new generation that has to continue the push and the march. Next, I want to recognize Margaret Iwanaga Penrose, President and CEO of the Union of Pan-Asian Communities, a nonprofit that works to advance and strengthen the cultural identities of the Asian Pacific Islanders and ethnic communities. She has shown the value and determination and commitment to learning early in her life by her father, who became an architect, but who paid for his education by working in berry farms and salmon canneries. Margaret and her team at Union of Pan-Asian Communities provide services to underserved communities of color and put a unique focus on mental health, business development, housing, counseling, health promotion, and cultural competency. Her organization pushes back against prejudice, demonstrating compassion and provides a voice to those who have no one to speak up for them. Margaret leads with her values. She's an advocate and has been recognized by her commitment to diversity, equality, and advancing public health for communities of color. Margaret is passionate about expanding health access and education to combat the overwhelming challenges with health status in some of the most vulnerable communities across our county. Margaret, the County Board of Supervisors, is committed to honoring people like you who are dedicated to service and the principles of human rights, and we're honored to present you with this proclamation today, naming it Margaret Penrose Day throughout San Diego County. Thank you. Yes? You want to say anything?
Thank you very much. I'm deeply honored to be recognized on behalf of the Union of Pan-Asian Communities. Now, we call it UPAC because we have grown to serve over 35,000 immigrant and refugees and children of these immigrant and refugee families annually. And I'm smiling because my history includes 60s, and, starting in Chicago. And in those days, I was involved in expressing opinions which drew bombs, Molotov cocktails, thrown knives. And then I went to become a county administrator in Texas, where there were some events where I wasn't sure whether I was going to be coming out alive. And so even though there are a lot of challenges remaining in San Diego County, San Diego County is a wonderful place. I would never trade what I do, my life's work. And we have a wonderful leadership at the county level, city level, and so I'm deeply honored to accept this award on behalf of UPAC, which represents over 32 languages and dialects. And we're facing 49th year this coming year in 2020. And we continue to honor our founder who passed away in 1989. And so thank you so much for this honor.
Thank you, Margaret. We also had a special recognition for Pastor Reginald Gary, a faith leader in the City Heights community, a tremendous leader in the African American community and faith communities. He was unable to make it today, but we want to commend him for his work, and we'll be sharing our proclamation. If we could please get a large round of applause for all of our honorees on International Human Rights Day.